Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Steven's Vinyl Adventures episode of Yesshift. And I'm just realizing that I need to switch mics, so give me a moment to go ahead and do that. Then I should be sounding a bit better. Um, and okay, there we go. Let me make sure it's got the correct one. Okay, there we go. I should be sounding better now. So, welcome everyone. This is another Steven's Vinyl Adventures segment. This time, talking about two different records that I acquired on vinyl relatively recently, and it felt appropriate to feature both of them in one thing, given that they both have the word "full" in the title. So, I am talking about Foghat's Fool for the City, as well as Gentle Giants Playing the Fool, the complete live experience. Now, this is pretty nice because they tie into a couple events that are happening really soon. So on Wednesday, September 17th at 12 p.m. Pacific US time, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time, there will be an online fan Q&A with Roger Earl over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. And you have to either be a premium member or have a gig pass in order to watch and have the chance to ask your question to Roger. You could even ask it on screen face to face with him. So that's a pretty good deal right there. So you can check that out over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. I got uh, the little banner, the scrolling thing that has the info at the bottom of this video if you're watching the video. And yeah, like we've got an archive of Q&As with other people. We had Oliver Wakeman on there a while back. There's one you can watch of Derek Schulman of Gentle Giant. So become a member and you can check out the archives or get a gig pass if you just want to go to this one particular event. But speaking of Derek, we are having him on Yesshift again on September 25th at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time, and he'll be talking about his upcoming memoir, Giant Steps, which I'll go ahead and show the image of that real quick. So there's the book cover. Actually, let me share it a different way so you get the full thing, the complete experience, you might say. But yeah, it's been a great read. Uh, starting from very early in his life and some of the stuff he had to go through there. And something that I kind of related to was the idea of, when he was talking about a pre Gentle Giant band he was in, the idea of having a rock star alter ego and that making it easier to be confident on stage because it's like you're not being yourself, you're performing as this other person, and so that kind of makes things easier. And yeah, I've been really getting even more into Gentle Giant again in the last couple years, I would say, thanks to the show and the stuff we've been touching on. And Foghat, of course, is perhaps more well known in the classic rock sphere. People are more likely to know about Foghat thanks to hits like Slow Ride and stuff like that. Whereas Gentle Giant, if you're a prog rock fan, then you're more likely to know about Gentle Giant. But yeah, they're kind of different things. So it's cool to be able to talk about both of these on the show. So for Foghat, we actually have a few brief live video clips of the band loaded up. So I guess I might as well play those all together they'll amount to about less than a minute. So here's something for your ears.
Slow ride, take it easy. Well, I'm a fool for the city. 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 I'm a fool for.
And there's a
She's a little bit of everything. She ain't too fat, she ain't too thin. She's a little bit of everything. When she's with me, it's a win-win. She's a little bit of everything.
and here's a little drum clip from Roger. All right. So, Fool for the City released in 1975, and the re-release just came out this past Friday. This was sent to me beforehand, so I was able to check this out before the official release date. But you got that classic cover there, sitting on the in the street with a fishing rod, and if you look closely, you also see a Coca-Cola can like right there. It kind of reminds me of that bit in the Yes Years documentary where Rick Wakeman pretends that like he wants to be sponsored by Coca-Cola or something. And inside of in the notes that are inside of this, they there is the story about going out to do this photo shoot and also having taken pictures of pretending that they're being cuffed and what like handcuffed and taken away for not having a fishing license. I really wish that they had used those photos. They sound funny, but apparently they don't know what happened to them. And you got the lineup in this photo on the back, or yeah, there's all the people and this manhole cover, and you got the. I'll read the track list. So side one, Full for the City, My Babe, and Slow Ride, and side two is Terraplane Blues, Save Your Loving for Me, Drive Me Home, and Take It or Leave It. Leave it. Oh wait, different. Leave it. And yeah, a few of these tracks I think the side one tracks I had heard prior. Definitely, Slow Ride. The first time I ever heard Slow Ride was, or at least maybe not the first time, but a huge core memory, I guess you could say. Back in 2007, so middle school, Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock came out, and Slow Ride was one of the songs on that, maybe even one of the first ones that you're able to play. And it was a lot of fun, that game. Lots of memories playing with my brother and our cousins and friends. So yeah, it was very nostalgic being able to listen to that on this record. So that's the first LP, the track list of the original album. And what's cool is this re-release also has a second LP on it, a live recording, live at the Aragon Ballroom, Chicago, Illinois, November 28th and 29th, 1975. So for side three, you have Full for the City, Home in My Hand, My Babe, Honey Hush. And for side four, you have Slow Ride, I just want to make love to you. For Honey Hush, something that I noticed was somewhere in the middle of the song, there was a bit that kind of reminded me of what Yes would end up doing as the ending for the live version of Owner of a Lonely Heart. The do, that type of thing. So it's probably a coincidence, I'm sure, because it's not a super specific thing. But yeah, I just thought it was funny having that little reminder there. And in the live recording between a couple of the songs, you do get to hear them talk a bit about, being paid in whiskey in the past or whatever. Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed this. How it captures the atmosphere of like what was it like to be at a Foghat concert in the mid '70s. And I should also mention that this is my first time listening to a Foghat album. Uh, not just in full, but at all. I'd heard the a couple singles here and there. And I don't know if my Babe was a single, but I feel like I've heard that one before somewhere, perhaps. But yeah, so this was my first proper full Foghat experience, and I'll go ahead and so I should read off the lineup for anyone not familiar. So we got Lonesome Dave Peverett on lead vocals, guitar, and heavy breathing. And this is all on the backside, toward the bottom of the photo. We got Rod the Bottle Price on guitar, slide, and vocals. Roger Earl on drums and percussion. I didn't notice that when reading that a bit earlier. So Nick Jameson on bass, keyboards, guitar, and vocals. Produced and engineered by Nick Jameson, recorded and mixed at Sun Shredder Studios, mastered at Capitol Records Pressing Plant, Los Angeles. And you got a thanks to John, Michael, Sharon, and especially Jerice for her infinite fortitude and patience. Thanks also to Larry Carmody and James the Hat Alteta for cheesy comestibles. Photography by Tony Lowe. Cover illustration by Brooke Maxwell. Coordinated by Tony Alteta. Or maybe it's Uteta, I'm not quite sure. And on the inside, below the lineup photo, you get, I know you can't see it that well on here, which should be more of an incentive for you to go out and get it. But below the lineup photo, you get the track by track. Roger Earl devotes a paragraph for each of these tracks, talk about each of them and memories of playing them and whatnot. And the other half of this inner, uh, the, I guess you could say the second page of this, if you want to call it that, um, is a few paragraphs of Roger talking about the cover photo and Nick Jameson having just joined the band as the bass player. And you also have some words from, a few paragraphs from Nick Jameson talking about, memories of that time of this album as well. So very nice reading materials here. And you do get a bit of specific info on the live tracks. So side 3, tracks 1 through 4 were from November 28th, that show. Side 4, track 1, apparently is from both nights. And side 4, track 2 was recorded just on the 29th of November from those shows. So this is and these are in kind of I don't know what you would call it, like a light green disc. I'm sure you can, and you can find these via the links in the description of this episode. So it comes in this white covering, and then so it's this shade of light green, which nicely matches the shade that the street seems to be on the album cover. And of course, it includes the, in the middle, it's the brownish or I guess slightly orange circle, which goes nicely with the color scheme of the buildings on the album cover. And of course, it show the tracks on the circle in the middle. Um, So that's the first LP. I'll go ahead and show you the second one. And it's very much the same. I don't quite recall if I've ever gotten a record where one LP was one color and the other LP was a different color. That'd be an interesting way of an interesting presentation. I did show my collection of ELP singles on vinyl. That each of those were different colors. I featured that on this show a while ago. But yeah, this is the second LP. It's yeah, like I said, these two are very uniform with each other, and again, nicely reflect the album cover. So yeah, go ahead and get Fool for the City, the 50th anniversary release over at foghat.biz, I believe is the site. Um, Even if you're more of a prog rock fan, I think you could still appreciate the musicianship in this. Foghat, there's a reason that they are super well known, and it's really cool that they're still at it after all this time. But yeah, if you want some rock or some bluesy rock, I like having some variety in my listening habits. So really glad I was able to get this and listen to it all a few days ago. So yeah, and that brings us next to Gentle Giant, the complete, or playing the complete live experience. And I believe this was recorded a year later in 1976 and came out in 77. But this has a couple of tracks that were not on the original live album's release. So again, I'll show you the cover art. I just love that. I guess you could call it a collage of pictures there. And you got another one on the back too. So side one includes intro, just the same, and proclamation. Side two contains on reflection and interview. Interview was not on the original live album. Side three has the runaway and experience. Then Sweet Georgia Brown, Breakdown in Brussels, and So Sincere. Side 4 has excerpts from Octopus and band introduction. Side 5 has Funny Ways, as well as Timing/violin solo, which I don't think Timing was on the original either. And then side 6 has Freehand and Peel the Paint/I Lost My Head. I've listened to the original live version back in 2008, the original live album. I think I listened to it once, and then I listened to it again when I was visiting dad for the holidays that December, and he brought out his record player that I guess he had stored for a while. And the first record that I put on that player of his was 9012 Live, the solos. And I remember his reaction was like, you got all these records and you play that one first? And I'm like, yeah, I haven't listened to 9012 Live, the solos before. It was something that was kind of missing in my catalog of Yes experiences. But yeah, shortly after that, like within that same week, I remember he put on playing the full, his copy of that live album. And again, it really sticks out the way the vocals are, the very unconventional and uniquely weird in an awesome way. And yeah, I'll go ahead and show you the what the inside looks like of this. Well, first I'll read the lineup of this that it says in there. So you got Derek Schulman on vocals, alto sax, descent recorder, or is it descant? I'm not really sure. Bass and percussion. You got Ray Schulman on bass, violin, acoustic guitar, and descent recorder, trumpet, vocals, and percussion. Carrie Manier on all keyboards, cello, vibes, tenor recorder, vocals, and percussion. You got Gary Green on electric, acoustic, and 12-string guitars, alto, and recorders, vocals, and percussion. And John Weathers on drums, vibes, timbre, vocals, and percussion. And we've talked to John Weathers before as well. Dad did an interview with him on Drum Talk TV last year, and we also had him for a Q&A earlier this year. I think maybe shortly after the one we did with Derek, or maybe it was the other way around. But yeah, we've had both of them, and those can be viewed in the drumtalktvbrilliance.com membership site. Very, very kind people. Yeah, and I also forgot to mention on the back, toward the top, it says 2025 Dan Bornmark mix and production. You got at the bottom, you got Alucard, and yeah, Alucard Publishing, which backwards is Dracula, which I remember realizing that when reading something else a while ago, something literary, I believe. And there's a book series I've been reading by V.E. Schwab where there's a character named Alucard. So there you go. But yeah, getting back to the credits in here. So playing the full A Gentle Giant production recorded en naturel on European tour September to October 1976. Engineer Paul Northfield, assisted by Trevor Peter and Fraser, and in parentheses it says Maison Rouge Mobile, and Ken Thomas in London. Live mix David Zammit, sound system built and supplied by recording studio design Cheshunt Hertz, sleeve design and production by Murray Carden and Jeff Allman for spoken image, in parentheses it says airbrush Chris Clover. The complete live experience mixed and produced by Dan Bornmark, co-mixed and mastered by Hagen Fredrickson, liner notes by Alan Kinsman, live photography by Bull Gregmar, Vidar Jensen, Dave Matlock, Martin Metcalf, Tom Webster, and executive producer and creative director Noah Schulman. That's Derek's son, whom we've met as well. All titles composed by Schulman, and Manier. Excerpts from Octopus, Funny Ways, Peel the Paint, composed by Schulman, and Manier. Published by Alucard Music Ltd. Or Limited, I guess one would say. So here's what the inside looks like. I'll start with, so there's that with the lineup. Then you got that, but yeah, you got those live photos, and opens up and shows a bit more. So there you go. I kind of have to peek below and above this thing to make sure I'm showing everything. But yeah, you've got one LP inside of the album cover. You got the second LP in the middle part of this arrangement, and the third LP is on the other side that opens out. So I'll go ahead and show those. But yeah, this is an incredible live album. If you haven't listened to Gentle Giant in a while, then this could bring you back into that fandom, much like it did with me. I see Anthony Smith chiming in saying super value. Yeah, this is a really cool, valuable experience, this album. But even if you've never listened to Gentle Giant before, I think you could just dive into this one and it'll make you a fan. It's very proggy, very unique. And there's a really cool drumming moment from Weathers toward the end of side 3, and some great keyboard stuff, especially at the end of side 5, I think it was. Like, there are some bits that kind of remind me of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. So Gentle Giant fits neatly in the prog rock lexicon. And they only lasted for about a decade, maybe a little less, but they put out some great stuff. So there's a first LP. It's in this black covering, and the LP itself is black, and in the middle has the red and black and white color scheme that shows the titles and such. And again, like I know that these all look the same. There's not variation in the color, but I do like showing each of these, or at least what I can given my setup. And hey, like this video might not even do enough justice to the whole thing. So that's something that just happened right now is I was trying to get out the second LP, but I took out the LP that was in the second half of this that folds up, but that has the third LP. So that might be something that might happen with listeners from time to time. They'll reach for the LP3 when they mean to reach for LP2, perhaps. But yeah, same type of covering. Um, got a bit of a, you got a different picture in this. I think something different from the collage. So in the center of the side, I should say. Then go ahead and show the third one. So again, it comes in this, and yeah, it's this black LP, but different picture in the middle. It's got that greenish cloudy sky, and over here you got the like something like that picture that includes what looks like a poster of a Gentle Giant show. So yeah, very great stuff. Let me just make sure I get this. Tucked behind the second LP, so you know, in the middle, and I guess in the way back behind the folding bits, is this right here. So it looks like a star chart, but it's actually a map of, I believe, the different gigs of that tour. Yeah, you got the dates, 76, and the months and dates and the cities. Um, you open it up and it's got those pictures that are on the outside of the record. So that's a very creative thing to do, to have that star chart that shows where they performed. Um, and I have no idea if something like that was already in the original live album, but either way, really cool that they include this. So, yeah, very happy with these re-releases. On both of them, you get extra live tracks that weren't there before. You know, whether it be a couple or several, and yeah, just all around. I'm really glad that I'm. These last couple of years of doing the podcast, I really feel like I've been adding more variety to my collection other than the Yes stuff. Like I love Yes, they're my favorite band, and but you know there are other bands out there, and listening to other bands really adds to one's own palate and taste. It's like, you know, if your favorite food is, I don't know, pizza, you don't want to eat pizza all the time. You want to eat other stuff in between so that when you return to pizza, you appreciate it more. But yeah, so I'm sure there's a lot more that could be said about each of these, but hopefully I've given them justice. You know, these are great listens. Really enjoyed them. Go get playing the complete live experience, and Full for the City, the 50th anniversary edition, and check out our upcoming online fan Q&A with Roger Earl of Foghat over at drumtalktvbrilliance.com. The info will be right over there, and as well as where you can sign up for premium or get a gig pass just for the event. If you want to ask Roger Earl a question, go ahead and do it. Try to submit your question during the broadcast and see if you're put on screen with him. And also tuning to Yesshift on September 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK time. And that's the same time on the 17th that Roger Earl's thing is. So pretty uniform, that time. And yeah, we'll talk about Derek Schulman's upcoming book, which I definitely recommend, Giant Steps. So Dad and I will both be on that interview with Derek next week. I'll be back on here, I believe, on the 23rd. So, I'm pretty sure I'll have what I need to talk about on that day. And I might come on another time prior to that, depending on how things go on my end, and also like what if there's like anything huge announced. I keep an eye out for that sort of stuff. But yeah, we'll still be here, be around. But yeah, I've quite liked this pattern, like this schedule, this frequency of doing at least one vinyl discussion per week. So we'll see if that trend continues, or if it ends up becoming like a once a month thing, sort of again. But yeah, always great to talk about music. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is Steven's Vinyl Adventures here on Yesshift, and we'll see you all soon. Later.